How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We're talking about Workhorse today. So, Workhorse fell about 10% throughout the day today, and I'm going to go over why I think people are drastically wrong and why analysts are wrong on why the stock is going down. I'm going to talk about analyst estimates. I'm also going to talk to you about why the Workhorse fell during the USPS conference today, the meeting, the webcast, and talk about why that was so important and what we can look forward to going forward because I think we're going to have pretty smooth sailing here, but watch through to the end and I'll explain all of it. If you guys want to support the channel, you can hit the like button. I really appreciate that. Also, you can check out the link down below to Webull, get 3 free stocks. They also have a little referral too. If you give someone else a referral, you get 6 free stocks. So you can take my 3 free stocks, sign up your friend or your wife or husband or something, and then get another 6, and then they get another 3 too. So I mean, there's tons of free stocks to go out there from Webull. So definitely check that out. So Workhorse is down about 7% after it was up in the pre-market, and we have seen it dip pretty drastically today, and there are a couple of reasons for that. There are some articles out there that I think are flat out wrong that I wanted to hit on for Workhorse that could be causing a little bit of fear in the market. But before we do get to that, I do want to hit on the fact that we are playing with fire a little bit right here. So Workhorse is a very high risk, high reward play. And for all those people that think that, other EVs are really safe too, and that Workhorse is just really risky compared to them, I'd say they're wrong too, because we have seen today a lot of the other EV players. I did a video just this morning when NIO, XPeng, and Li Auto were all up between 5 and 10 and 20% just because of Li Auto crushing expectations. And we can see NIO, for example, who wouldn't have wanted to invest in NIO, fell about 23% from high to low today. We've seen XPeng, who had a great day yesterday, up 33%, fall back down, again, 25% high to low. We've seen Li Auto fall and continue to fall about 23%. So they are not immune to this either. What happened with them, and I'll get back to Workhorse in a second, but they had this company, Citron, that said that NIO is going to $25 a share. They're shorting the stock, and they are calling this out, and the stock dropped dramatically. And it caused every other Chinese EV to drop too. So Workhorse is not the only one out here. However, I will say this is even a little bit more high risk, high reward, I think, because Workhorse has the USPS contract. And I'll go over what happened at the USPS meeting this morning because I listened to the entire thing on the webcast. But first of all, we have to hit on something that happened just yesterday. Ford revealed their E-Transit, which will compete with Workhorse. So this was a pretty good looking car, honestly, a pretty good looking van. And this is going to go into production in about a year. This has 126 miles of range. And they said that, they do have 1,800 commercial vehicle dealers worldwide, including 600 in the US. That's something that I've been saying this entire time, that the traditional car manufacturers are going to fight back. Now, Ford is really the only one that I can see that's a big traditional manufacturer that's battling in this last mile delivery space. And honestly, I don't think any of us would even know about it unless we were invested in Workhorse. I mean, 5 years ago, who would really know the big names in last mile transit vehicles? Not many people. But you can see here that this is going to start under $45,000. They have the manufacturing set up, they have the distribution set up, so they can afford to sell at pretty low prices. Now, after this happened, this came out that Workhorse Group slid after Ford's electric cargo van sends a jolt. So they were saying, this came out partway through the day today, that this only happened because of the electric van, and that's why that we've actually seen it go down. But I don't think that's the case. I mean, we saw a positive pre-market. We were up a pretty decent amount in the pre-market, and they put out this article once we were already down 5 or 10%. So I don't think this is the reason that we're actually down today. I think that's wrong. I will say, though, a lot of people are guessing that Workhorse is going to go down. We can see an increase in short interest. So about 5 million more shares are shorted than just a few days ago. This updates maybe every week or so on this website. It's called shortsqueeze.com. And we can see 32.5 million shares are shorted. That is a very large amount that continues to rise. And what does this tell us? Well, A lot of people are betting the stock is going to go down. A lot of people are taking a position to show that they think it's going to go down. And this could cause a short squeeze. This could also cause it to continuously decrease as more people short the stock. That can cause a downward pressure on the stock and make it go down. Honestly, though, we're not sitting in a terrible place at $19 a share. I don't think that's terrible. This is what's happening with the analysts, and after this, I'll tell you about the USPS meeting. But some analysts are expecting lower numbers. So after the report came out, the earnings report, some analysts are trimming their numbers. You can see that the consensus price estimate between the 5 different analysts went down to $22.75. And this is on the fact that we had pretty weak revenue and we actually don't have a lot of production. So they talked about how they were hoping for 300 to 400 vehicles this year. They're not giving guidance for what they're going to hit by the end of the year. But we haven't made that many deliveries. We haven't been able to produce that many trucks so far. So this could be an issue. We were at $26 a share. Now they're saying $22.75. But this is still, a decent upside from where it is now. I mean, the people that invest in these companies typically are looking for a little bit more upside. But still, this is about a 15% upside if the analysts are right. And I take everything they say with a grain of salt because obviously they can be wrong just like us. But let's get on to the USPS meeting. So I listened to this entire meeting, and believe me, you did not miss much. This was a very dull meeting. This is much worse than listening to an earnings call. This was the Board of Governors session, basically going over their plan for the forward year, what they're saying they need to do, what their earnings were this year, their net loss. They lost a lot of money. It just was not pretty. Billions of dollars were lost. They are basically saying, thank you for all the mail carriers for their job and what they've been able to do through the pandemic. But they're basically saying they need help to restructure and reorganize the USPS because fiscally it just doesn't make sense with what they're doing now. They're not going to be able to make money. However, I think this is the reason the stock went down today, and it is because there was no news about the next gen vehicles in this meeting. So I talked about this in my video yesterday. If you were subscribed, if you watch it, maybe it helped you out keeping a level head, or maybe it helped plan out your decisions. But I told you I did not think that they were going to go over the next gen truck here. I talked about that. We went through point by point what they're going to talk about. And nowhere on there did say that they were talking about the vehicles. Now, you can clearly see the pre-market was up and then it started to fall. Throughout the entire conference call, it went to about 10 a.m. We were up significantly pre-market and then it dropped significantly through the call and then continued to drop after the call. So for me, it was very clear that this was the reason the stock was dropping. It was because we didn't get any news on the vehicles. I did not think we would get this, like I said, but it was something that I was hoping for. I'll be honest. I mean, I always hope that we'll get news on the contract because we have not really gotten any news from USPS the entire time. But I think this does cause us to have a pretty consistent outlook going forward because we're just expecting it by the end of the year. This was, as far as I can tell, at this point, this was the last thing that people thought maybe they would give us some insight into the USPS contract. Now, we're just waiting. It might be a month and a half. It might be a month. Somewhere in there, we should know. So unless we don't hear about it by the end of the year, maybe they push it back to next year. But at this point, a lot of us are thinking that it's going to be announced by the end of the year. So hopefully it's smooth sailing from here. I mean, of course, they could come out with news about some new kind of business line or some new contract. I mean, we just got word about that 500 vehicle contract, but right now I don't think there's going to be a lot moving the stock. I mean, it could still go between, I don't know, 1450 and 2450 or something like that, just based on shorts and any other kind of news if ARK invest a significant amount more. Hopefully you guys appreciated this. Hopefully you got something out of it in case you were wondering why Workhorse went down so much throughout the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see my video where I compare NIO, Tesla, XPeng, and Li Auto, check out this video here. Also, thank you for hitting the like button and checking out Webull. But check this video out, and I'll see you here.